So in this quick video, I'm going to show you how to use Canva Whiteboards, right, to manage all of your designs. And in this case, we're using an example of a client that we designed Google and Facebook ads for. So this is really helpful if you're going to design multiple things, right? Or if you're working on a logo, if you're designing some flyers, whatever it is where you need to, compare a couple different designs together. I highly recommend that you start using Canva Whiteboards. And this quick video, I'm not necessarily going to design an ad, but I'm going to show you after you put together all your designs, how to download one individual design from all the designs that you made. Because if you simply go to share and you go to download, you're actually going to download the entire whiteboard. And then you have to go back and crop or edit, or I'm not sure how big this file is going to be, but it's not going to be everything you wanted, right? So this is how you do that. So if you have a design ready, right, like in this case, we have a couple Google ads here, something like that. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we group things together, and then we're just going to use an option called download selection. So this is really important, right? This is, again, really helpful. So if you need, Google ads or Facebook ads designed, right? We are a marketing agency. We do design these things. But in this case, what's important here is that you download one design, not multiple designs when you're working on multiple designs on one whiteboard. All right. So anyways, all I got to do is, in this case, right, I'm gonna ungroup this real quick. Let's say that I designed this ad, right? I put a logo here, put the square here, headline, right, button here, all that. We got an image here, right? So this one design we want to download, right? We don't want to download all these. You can highlight all of these, right? And I recommend you group them. Actually, that's a little bit easier to make sure you don't mess this up, you don't accidentally move something. So you like to group them. And then we like to right click on them and hit download selection. All right. Now, when you're going to download a selection, you're going to have a couple things here. You can download it as a PNG, you can download it as a JPEG, PDF. And here's basically what happens when you do these things. So I recommend, if you're going to download it as a PDF, it's because you want to edit this later. Maybe you got to do it in Photoshop, or you want to bring it to Adobe Illustrator, you want to bring it outside of Canva, right? That's when you want to download it at a print quality. Second thing, if you download it as a JPEG, right? Just know that JPEGs, usually you don't want to use them unless you want to keep something super small and quality is not important. So what I tend to do before I use JPEG is I do PNG, and then we compress the file. If you're not sure what you need, usually you want to compress a file if you're going to use it on a website, or you need it to load really, really fast, and it's not going to be on a big screen. So the more I compress this, the blurrier or the more pixely it's going to be when you try to stretch it and make it bigger. So that's when PNG, I wouldn't compress it. I would use PNG just as is. JPEG can even be even smaller, and you can make this load really, really fast on a website, right? If I were to bring it down to small, right before medium, this is going to load really fast on a website, but it's going to look terrible if people zoom in. So that's the trade-off, is speed versus quality. And that's why PNG tends to be kind of like the middle ground of all that. So anyways, that's how I woid do that. Something else you need to consider as well is the size. So if you need a specific size, right, shrink it now before you download, and then it'll be the right size. Last thing I want to make sure you guys know is that if for whatever reason you start to, let's say if I brought this text box to the edge, Canva will detect that as also pixels, even though you can't see anything in there. And when you go to download this, right, it's actually going to be bigger. So if you notice, it's 233 by 1202. So it got bigger out of nowhere. It's no longer a perfect square. If you look in the preview right here, you'll also see that there's a white border there that shouldn't be there. So anyways, when possible, keep your text boxes exactly as they should be. Gonna recenter this. Okay, we got a line going through the bottom there, means it's centered. And then again, if you're seeing something that's telling you about that it's extra pixels, it's probably like a picture or something, around the border. And usually what we can do to fix that is, make sure there's no border there, or just slightly make it smaller than the actual design, even just 1 pixel. Sometimes we'll even, just make 1 pixel smaller and it goes away. All right, but on the main focus here is to highlight everything, hit download. And then again, this is 1202. I think the extra 2 pixels not going to hurt anything. Could be at the top, could be at the bottom. It's probably this picture here that Canva is detecting as an extra pixel somewhere. And then we're going to hit PNG and we're going to hit download. That's simple. And again, if it makes it easier for you, try to group it. That way you don't accidentally move it around. Here's another example I did earlier. Just hit yes or whatever. But yeah, now it's downloaded, and that's all you need to do in order to download one design on a Canva whiteboard. And then to recap this video, the purpose of this video is to explain how Canva whiteboards work quickly. We didn't design anything, but also how to download your specific design after you've created the design inside of a whiteboard. Thank you.